Hello, my name is Ashley Wiley, and this is my Science Center presentation slideshow. And then I will be recording my actual project board presentation after this. So on to the first slide. The topics that will be addressed is fixing the playground, weather watchers activity, dressing for the weather, and then a weather reporter. So overall, these activities will address weather and safety concerns. So the grade that it will be directing is kindergarten. The NGS Common Core Standards for kindergarten that will be addressed is K-2-ETS1-1. Asking questions, make observations, gather information about a situation people want to change to define a simple problem. The second standard is K-ESS2-1. Use and share observations of local weather conditions to describe patterns over time. And the final standard being addressed is K-ESS3-2. Ask questions to obtain information about the purpose of weather forecasting to prepare for and respond to severe weather. So, on to the first activity, which is fixing the playground. Okay, so for this activity, the standard that is being addressed is standard K-2-ETS1-1, asking questions, making observations, gathering information about a situation people want to change to define a simple problem. So, um, for this activity, you would show the students a playground with an issue based on the weather. My example is a playground that got affected by the rain. So I would ask the students to observe this image and then make a statement on what they believe is wrong with the playground. And then we will come up with different ideas on how we can fix this problem. For example, we can replace the dirt on the playground with, there's playground turf, right? Or you could change it to cement. So the flooding will be limited. Or another possibility is you can build like a canopy or a structure above the playground so the water would be prevented from getting onto the playground. And for the exit ticket, students will draw a picture and write a sentence of what they believe would happen to the playground. So there's that pink ticket at the bottom that I created, and it says draw a picture of what you would do to fix the playground, right? So for this example, it would be the student drew, I would change the floor, and then there's a little slide, and then they drew cement on the floor. Of course, the question would only be on the ticket, and students would have to draw their own picture. On to the second activity, which is weather watchers. So the standard that is being addressed is K-ESS2-1. Use and share observations of local weather conditions to describe patterns over time. So the worksheet that will be used in this activity is called the Daily Weather Journal, as you can see on the right. That was provided by Teachers Pay Teachers. So, as a class, for 1 to 2 weeks, you will record the weather in your daily journal. This will keep track of the temperature, weather, the date, and extra information such as that. And then, as a class, you will discuss the different patterns you noticed through the weeks. So, for example, it could be cold Monday and Tuesday, but it rained on Tuesday as well. So you could color that in on the journal, you can write that in, whatever you would like, but you would track that into your weather journal. And then for the exit ticket is that purple ticket at the bottom that I created. So for that, students will receive their exit ticket slip and write and draw a picture of what they believe the weather would be tomorrow. So for my example that I filled out just so you can have an understanding of it, Like I said, it's that purple ticket, and I put, I think it will snow tomorrow because I like the snow, right? That might be something that your student may write. And then there's a picture of snow and a snowman. So, on to the third activity. It is dressing for the weather. So, the standard that is being addressed is K-ESS2-1, which is use and share observations of local weather conditions to describe patterns over time. So, the templates that you will need for this activity is a person cutout as well as cutout clothes, which was provided from Pinterest. So, for this activity, you will first talk to students about appropriate outfits to wear in different weather. An example I made was you would not wear a warm coat in 100-degree weather, right? Like you would wear shorts or a tank top, maybe sandals, because it's too hot to wear a sweater or a jacket in 100-degree weather. So then um, students will decorate their person to either look like them or however they would like. And after, they will decorate the outfits that their person will wear in this activity. After, students will cut out their templates so we can start the activity. Then you will give different weather examples throughout this activity, such as today is cold and raining, and the students will dress their person in the appropriate clothes for that weather. And then the exit ticket is the blue one right underneath that template, also created by me. So after students finish their activity, they will receive an exit ticket with a different weather situation. Students will then write what they would wear. After, they will dress their person with the appropriate weather for the scenario and show you. So on my exit ticket, it says, the example was, how would you dress when it snows? So the student wrote, I would wear a sweater, a jacket, jeans, warm socks, and my rain boots. For example 4. The activity we will be doing is weather reporting. So the standard that is being addressed is K-ESS3-2, which is asking questions to obtain information about the purpose of weather forecasting to prepare for and respond to severe weather. So the templates that will be used is the daily tracker that your students used in one of the previous activities, as well as the 5-day forecast. And students will be creating their 5-day forecast based off of this information. So, with that being said, for this activity, students will use their daily weather journal to create their next weather report. Like I said, you will explain to the class what these predictions mean and how it is important to make accurate predictions. Also, explain how making a very off prediction could affect the people around them. For example, if it's been cold the last 3 days and it looks like it might rain, you shouldn't predict that it's going to be sunny tomorrow, since that is most likely going to be inaccurate if you can tell in the sky it is going to rain. So, as a class, you will then go over the weather that happened in the last couple days from your daily weather tracker. And students' predictions will be based on that weather and what they believe will happen next. So the exit ticket will be based off of their 5-day forecast that the students did work on. So students will practice being weather reporters to their class, as well as, they will be presenters of their weather forecast to their class, and they will explain their 5-day forecast. So students will explain why they predicted this and why they believe their prediction is correct, and how the other students can prepare for this weather. For example, it is cold and cloudy Monday. With this being said, I predict that it will be raining on Tuesday and Wednesday, and the student can say as how to prepare. you can make sure to wear your warm jackets, warm clothes, and keep an umbrella because I believe it's going to rain. And then students, of course, will turn in their 5-day forecast, so you can use that as a way to also grade and as to count for their exit ticket. So now on to cross-curricular activities, starting with the first activity, fixing the playground. So the cross-curricular activity for this would be language arts. This activity can address art as well when students are drawing and designing their solution to the playground issue, but it also addresses language arts because students are providing a verbal as well as written solution throughout the lessons and as well as in their exit ticket. So for activity 2, weather watchers. A cross curricular activity for this would be math, and it is math because it is addressing when students are recording weather data as well as analyzing the weather for the week throughout their weather paper, their daily weather tracker. So for the third activity is dressing for the weather. A cross-curricular activity would be arts, and I believe this is art being implemented because as students design their paper dolls, um, as well as the outfits that their dolls will be wearing for the weather. This allows students to use their creativity since they are decorating different papers. And then the fourth activity is the weather report, and a cross curricular activity for this activity would be language arts. This aspect is addressed as students present their weather forecast and listen to their peers' weather forecasts. And on to assignment strategies, which would just essentially be the assignment rubric breakdown. So, the assignment rubric breakdown is a science based rubric that will be provided to each student. This rubric will be based on quality of work created, engagement in each activity, and responses to exit questions. Students will receive extra guidance and assistance based on grades from that they're receiving off of these rubrics. So the first science rubric is just you did excellent, and it states that you have a clear understanding on all of the topics of the lesson. You shared great ideas regarding learning topics throughout the lesson. You answered the exit question correctly without needing any guidance. For the second one, the smiley face emoji, you did good. You understood most of the topics addressed in the lesson. You shared ideas regarding learning topics through the lesson. You answered the exit question correctly with minimal guidance. The third one would be you almost had it. You understood half of the lessons being taught. You did not um, share ideas regarding learning topics throughout the lesson, and you answered the exit ticket incorrectly or needed guidance throughout the whole question. And the last one is let's practice. So assignment was hard to follow and you may need extra practice. You did not interact throughout the activity and you were unable to complete the exit question. So this is my science project presentation.